Hey, Stygian Dogs, it's September 3rd, and this marks the release of issue number 10 of the Savage Sword of Conan from Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures. And this is a pretty special one, as its collection of stories serve as a prelude to Jim Zub and Yvonne Gil's Scourge of the Serpent event series that kicks off later this month on September 24th. So let's check out this issue's covers. Cover A is a solid one from Mignola. I don't always love Mignola's covers, but I'm really pleased with this one and its depiction of Sailor Steve Costigan and Mike the Bulldog. And honestly, as you'll see, Costigan is the absolute highlight of this issue. Cover B is from Alex Horley, and fans are, of course, eagerly awaiting his special issue number 25 of Conan the Barbarian. Jim Zub shared a ton of unlettered pages at this year's Fan Expo Canada, and the finished product is going to be an absolute treat. So issue 25 has a planned release date for October 8th. Aside from the Scourge of the Serpent tie-in, why else might this issue be special? Well, it's also been a wee while since we've seen Jim Zub pen a feature in the Savage Sword of Conan. And lo and behold, they've turned the entire issue over to the man. So between that and a great collection of artists, hopes should run high. Before we check out issue number 10, the big news this week is the official pre-order launch for the Battle of the Black Stone action figure. The page went live on Monday, and Tuesday saw the release of this epic stop-motion animation from Justin Rash. Conan in battle with a Lovecraftian elder god as Sadat Ozgin's cover for the Battle of the Black Stone issue number 1 comes to vivid and barbaric life. It's just too cool. The figure's pricing aligns with what we saw for the Frazetta Girls Icon Collectibles Conan, so be sure to check out the link in the video description. Fulfillment is targeted for December and January, so it'd make a sweet Christmas present. I'm just saying. Now, I'll let you know that this will be a flip through, not a read through, so there will be image spoilers, but I won't linger. It's a peek and a tease. Make sure to grab a physical copy or two of this retro goodness. You don't want to miss out, and here we go. And on the inside cover, we get an advertisement for the aforementioned Conan Battle of the Black Stone action figure. Pre-order now, and indeed, the order page is open. Check the link in the video description. This is followed by the full Numidian Chronicles with a great illustration of Conan there. And then on the next page, the 2-page map by Francesca Berald of the Hyborian Age. And this is followed by credits for the teams at Heroic Signatures and Titan Comics, and then on to the table of contents. We start off with Conan, Twice Paid Debts by writer Jim Zub and artist Doug Braithwaite. This is followed by Fang and Spear, a prehistoric tale from writer Jim Zub and artist Mike Rooth. And then, oh my god, this is great, Sailor Steve Costigan, The Snakeskin Shuffle by Jim Zub and Roberto de la Torre. It's awesome. And then we get pinups by Max von Fafner, Yvonne Gil, and Gerardo Zaffino. And on the next page, an essay by Jim Zub titled The Coil's Titan. He introduces Sailor Steve Costigan. He pays tribute to Spear and Fang on its 100th anniversary of publication. And of course, he welcomes us to the Year of the Snake. And then this brings us to Conan the Barbarian, Twice Paid Debts, with art by diabolical Doug Braithwaite. So really nice to see him do some work in the Savage Sword in black and white. Zub throws in some fun connections to issues 17 and 18 and 20 of Conan the Barbarian. Definite highlights are these next couple pages. Conan ensnared in the coiled snakes, Set's nightmares set to strike. It deepens the mystery of Set's followers, offers some action. It's just a great opportunity to see Doug Braithwaite's work without the coloring. It's very much the same as his work with the coloring. There's a great sequence of ceremonial sacrifice that you'll see echoed in the Spear and Fang story. It's quite rewarding. It's solid enough. It's not my favorite story in this issue. I think, we're just kind of waiting to see what happens in the Scourge of the Serpent, and we're still waiting for the conclusion in issue number 24. But it's enough in that it hints at what's to come. Turning the page, we come to our first pinup, this one by Max von Fafner. Always great to see him in the pages of the Savage Sword of Conan and Conan the Barbarian. And then we come to Grim Jim Zub and Mighty Mike Ruth's tribute to Robert E. Howard's Spear and Fang. This is titled Fang and Spear, a prehistoric tale. I really enjoyed this one. In fact, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. There's this great panel that echoes the ceremony that we saw in the Doug Braithwaite story. So I love that, we have that continuum of the Serpent Men menace from the prehistoric up to the Hyborian age. A thoroughly satisfying and action-packed story. I totally loved it. And after that, we come to our second pinup. This one is by Yvonne Gil, and it's Spear and Fang. Now, are you ready for this? This is just wonderful. This is the third pinup. This is Sailor Steve Costigan with Mike the Bulldog by Gerardo Zaffino. It's just amazing. Imagine having that on your wall. And then we move on to Sailor Steve Costigan in the Snakeskin Shuffle. Grim Jim Zub is the writer and Ravaging Rob de la Torre is the artist. And I mean, this is just, I don't know if it's an unexpected standout in this issue, but it's something else. I've been reading quite a bit of Steve Costigan lately. This just fits the character to a T. So many great moments. It's got the humor. It's got the fistic arts. You can't go wrong with this. There's a couple pages there where he's just being brutalized in that boxing ring. It's great. It ends on a humorous note, but it does get us to reflect upon the travels of the Serpent Ring. And opposite the end page of the Sailor Steve Costigan story is an advertisement for the epic tale of a gladiator's revenge in ancient Rome. This is Caesar's Spy, written by Jean-Pierre Pecau with art by the spectacular Max von Fafner. I'm really excited to check this one out. And then, taking a look at the back cover and the promise of the next issue, featuring writer-artist Liam Sharp's triumphant return to the Hyborian Age with a spellbinding Conan epic, the debut of Robert E. Howard's Cormac McArt brought to life by writer Ron Mars and artist Danny Earls, colossal covers from Alex Horley and Liam Sharp, an array of astonishing pinups, and more. Savage Sword of Conan issue number 11 lays siege to comic shop shelves this November. That'll be a good one. Well, I gotta say, all in all, this issue made me happy. No particular complaints. For my Submarine in September, I've been exploring Robert E. Howard's poetry. But if you're looking for some Submarine September reading, I would hardly recommend checking out Robert E. Howard's Sailor Steve Costigan stories. Steve Costigan was first published in the July 1929 issue of Fight Stories with the story The Pit of the Serpent. And Mike the Bulldog makes his first appearance in the February 1930 story Bulldog Breed. Now, as Zub alludes to at the beginning of his story in issue number 10, Sailor Steve Costigan is not to be confused with Stephen Costigan, Howard's character in the story Skullface, serialized over the October, November, and December 1929 issues of Weird Tales. And if you continue down a Costigan rabbit hole, you'll find that the surname appears in many Howard stories. And in Robert E. Howard's semi-autobiographical work, Post Oaks and Sandruffs, the character Steve Costigan is a representation of the author himself. Finally, once you've read all the Steve Costigan stories, you can check out Dennis Dorgan for a further fix. Now, as an event series tie-in, I think this issue worked really well. It was nicely balanced and less bloated than what we saw in the Battle of the Blackstone tie-in in issue number 4 of the Savage Sword of Conan. As perhaps any Savage Sword issue should, we get a full Conan feature from a most deserving Doug Braithwaite in a story with satisfying connections to the recent issues of the monthly series and enough mystery to carry us into the Scourge of the Serpent event series. A surprise for me was Jim Zub and Mike Rooth's great Spear and Fang tribute. I love the echoes between this story and the Conan feature, and I was delighted to see the portrayal of the nefarious influence of set serpent men extending well into humankind's prehistoric past. But the pièce de résistance of this issue number 10 of the Savage Sword of Conan is Jim Zub and Roberto de la Torre's Snakeskin Shuffle. From the blip, blim, blam to the blankety blank and the fistic arts, Zub and de la Torre's Sailor Steve Costigan is worth the price of admission. Thanks for watching, liking, consider subscribing, and until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.